Welcome back everyone to the davidarute Racing channel. Today we're going over a real topic, the actual cost of racing a tour modified in 2025. I'm gonna break down the big ticket items, the weekly cost, travel expenses, tires, fuels, entry fees, and even some income. So if you've ever wondered how deep in the pocket this sport really goes, you're gonna wanna stick around.
Now moving into the 17th starting position, he'll set behind the wheel of the GM Lucan.
The biggest question, what is a tour modified? Well, here it is. The ground pounders, the most iconic short track car here in the Northeast. An open wheel concept, 15-inch tire, 600 horsepower, ground pounders of the Northeast. These things are beasts. With all this power and all this car, there are a lot of big expenses. But not only are there expenses, there's a lot of opportunity to have income with race winnings and big paying purses. We'll jump into that right now. Today's video, we're gonna break down into 4 segments. Travel and entry expenses, day of race expenses, damages and repairs, and then the final total and income from racing. Throughout the video, you'll be seeing me on my laptop where I've put together all of my expenses on running this car for 2025. I will be showing you guys along the way all these different sheets, showing the different expenses we had from travel, tires, and much more. Let's jump into the first part of this video, the travel and entry costs. All of this is based off of my tour modified team, just the tour modified car itself. This whole series is just about the tour modified. I raced in 8 races this year, 6 on the Monaco Modified Tri-Track Series, 1 at the Stafford Springs Sizzler, and 1 at Waterford Speedway with the MRS Bob Horn Memorial. Another part before we jump into the expenses, this is all assuming you already have a race-ready tour modified, a trailer, you have the tools, and you have the truck. This is going over the yearly expense if you have all these items in place already and you're prepared for that. So let's go ahead and jump into the first one. That is the truck and trailer expense. That is the insurance, the maintenance on registering a truck and the trailer. I have that spread across 5 months and it is $1,125. Doesn't seem too bad. The next part here is the travel expenses. I have them broken down from every track that we go to. So the first event of the year was Thompson Speedway, where we had to travel 64 miles as both back and forth. And that is the first time I filled up the truck with diesel and put $110 in it. Keep that in mind for a little bit here. You'll see what I'm talking about. We had some travel expenses with crew, that is getting food. I am a big donut guy, so pretty much no matter where we drive to, if there's a donut shop on the way, guaranteed I'm stopping. So that is in our expenses. We have at-track food expenses. That is around $60. So for Thompson Speedway, we were at $289. First race, this is just travel expenses. I'm not gonna go over every single event. You can see it here on the screen. I'll give you a total at the bottom. One of the bigger ones was, okay, I'm gonna go over this one for you guys. The first Stafford race. You're probably wondering, why is there a 0? Well, we're located right here at the Speedway. It is less than 200 feet to the parking spot in the pit area. So there's 0 miles on. So our travel expense here at Stafford is $110. That is just food for the trailer, beverages, water, sodas, Gatorades. Then we head to the third race of the year, Seekonk Speedway. This is our furthest race. We travel 160 miles back and forth. This one is the most miles on the truck, on the trailer, but still have not had to put any fuel in the truck because this truck gets 390 miles till empty when you fill it up. We have more food stops, because there's a donut stop there. Then we also have dinner, because we stopped at Taco Bell on our way home. Gotta include that in the expenses. Now towards the bottom, you'll see Seekonk Practice and Seekonk Race. So this is the end of the year. We went to the practice day on Friday afternoon. So we drove all the way up there and drove all the way back in the same day, and then drove up the next day and back in. So that is why those are double. You can also see the mileage is different than the first Seekonk race, 10 miles more. That's because I got lost in downtown Providence. I took the wrong exit. So add those 10 miles to the travel expense. And you can see there's also another dinner stop, another Taco Bell action. This brings our total travel expenses to $1,988. Not awful. I mean, it's quite a bit, but we saved a lot by being right here at Stafford and not having any expensive travel pretty much. Then we get to the first big ticket item. This is entry fees. For those of you that don't know, when you race, you don't just show up and race. You actually have to register the car, enter the car, and then also purchase your passes to get in. So for the Monaco Modified Series, they charge a $150 entry fee for the car itself. That is 6 times we race that, so that's $900. But with their entry fee, you get 1 free owner's pass into the pit area. So that is a very nice incentive that they offer. That is a $50 off. So that is really like we're saving money. Thank you. We have the MRS series that we raced once at Waterford. That was a $200 entry fee. Then the Spring Sizzler was a $150 entry fee. So in car entry fees alone, we're at $1,250. Before we get into our total numbers, let's go ahead and have a little competition between you guys. Comment down below, how much do you think it costs to run this car and compete in 2025 for my 8 races? Comment down below what you think, and let's see if you got close here at the end. You see all the different pit entry ticket fees. For Thompson, it's $55 to enter the pits. I had 6 crew members come with me, that was at $330. The next one is the Stafford Spring Sizzler. I equated the entry fee to be $31 because here at Stafford we offer season passes, and I buy those for my crew. And if you buy that season pass at $560 and divide it by the number of events we raced in 2025, it is roughly $31 per event. So that is why Stafford's at $31. We then go to Seekonk, $50, back at Stafford for $31. We go to the Seekonk Practice, that was $20. There was 4 people that went to that. So you can see the total expenses there was $2,228. This brings our travel and entry expenses to a total of $6,591. So that is our first big expense of 2025, and we haven't even hit the track yet. We haven't even driven the race car. So let's go ahead, head to the next one, and that is race day expenses. Now this is when things get crazy. And for reference, I have 6 crew members generally at each event I go to with my Tour Modified. My car is, I'll say this. This is probably me having one of the more conservative Tour Modified operations. I am very alligator arms when it comes to Tour Mod racing. So we'll jump into this next one. I'm not saying anything that this car isn't good or this engine isn't good. This engine I bought 6 years ago when I purchased a Tour Modified for $20,000. I sold that car for 10 and kept the engine. It's not a top of the line engine. There's engines out there for $60,000. This makes do for what we got going on in our Tour Modified operation. So let's go ahead and jump into the next one. That is the race day expenses. Now there's some big hitters in here. Keep watching and you're gonna see what I'm talking about. Before we jump into the exact race day operations, I need to go over how I calculated the cost of running this car per lap. Now, every winter we have different items we do to this car to keep it up to date and make improvements. For example, we do new body panels, new noses, new rotors, new pads every winter. Now, these are all expenses you see here below. This is engine refresh, the driveline updates, engine oil, transmission fluid, rear end fluid, repacking all the bearings with new grease. Start the year off with 6 new wheels. We get a grand total of $16,000. Now, I averaged with these expenses based off how many laps we completed this year that it cost me $11.72 per lap if I completed every lap this year, and that we of course did not. Now let's go ahead and jump into the race day expenses per event that we went to. Sheet. I'm not gonna go over each and every event yourself. You can look at it below, you pause the video and check it out, but we'll go over some specifics that are across the board. To start with, every Monaco Modified Tri-Track Series event, I purchased 9 tires. Now, this isn't mandatory to purchase 9. You have to at least purchase 5 to race on, because it is a 1 tire change race. But if you do not purchase a set of practice tires, you are so far behind the 8 ball. Tires. Oh, tires. Don't get me started. These bad boys are $237 after tax each. Let that sink in. Not bad. We only get to use them once. They're not good after one event. We don't reuse them. So every event we purchased 9 tires. Now for the Spring Sizzler, it was a 2 tire change race, so I purchased 10 tires. And then at the Waterford MRS race, they allowed no tire changes, and I made out like a dog here. I only purchased 4 tires. We used some spare tires we had from a race that I wrecked out at. Lucky me, I wrecked. We used those tires for practice, and I didn't have to purchase 8, so I only purchased 4. Saved a boatload of money. Okay, so in total, in 2025, we purchased 68 tires. That brings the total for tires to, oh my gosh, $16,116. Yikes. Okay, that is a lot of money in tires. Now we go to the other consumable, that is race fuel. These engines run on a 4-barrel 390 carburetor that just dumps fuel right into this thing. So we are averaging 5 laps per gallon. And after we go over and we have our practice, we have time trials, we have heat races, we have consies, then we have the feature. We're averaging 140 laps per event. I have the exact breakdowns below. So we're roughly using 30 gallons of fuel per race event. In total, this year, I purchased $3,414 in race fuel. Our race fuel is $15 a gallon. It's not fuel that you could just go to the gas station and get for $3.80. It's high octane, supreme racing fuel. And that is not it. That is not all the expenses for this. Now we calculate how much it costs to drive this car itself per lap. That is wear and tear on the engine, transmission, rear end, the chassis itself. We're at $11.72 per lap, and this year I completed 1,138 laps to bring my total for car expense to $13,335. That is how much it cost me to drive this car this year. Now there's a lot of variables here. The Sizzler, I wrecked with 1 lap to go. That is in the next segment on damages. GAF race here, I wrecked early on, so I did not complete all the laps. So I guess it saved money? No. We'll go over that in the next part as well. Some events I had to run in the consi or didn't have heat races, so that's why there's so many different lap numbers, but these are the exact lap numbers for 2025. And that brings us to our next total of the race day expenses, $32,865. Whoa! All right, so now this brings us to another topic. Like I said, I am one of the more conservative tour modified teams. Yes, I do purchase practice tires. Some teams are purchasing multiple practice tires, which is perfectly okay. I hope one day I could do that, and I still won't because I just really dislike spending money like that. It is necessary when you're a top of the line team and you need to perform and show up and win these races. Unfortunately, my finishes are a result of our expenses, really. If we spend more, you're gonna have better finishes. That's how it works in our racing industry. So with my purchase of only 9 tires, I've seen teams purchase 14 per race, 12 per race, if not more. There's also the variable of people doing private tests, track rentals at multiple tracks. There's so many variables that could change this amount. It is crazy. So this is, again, just my expenses for my tour modified this year. These are all the exact laps, all the exact numbers that I spend. With that, let's head to our final expense. That is damages and repairs. Yeah. Woo, 2025 was big for damages, let me tell you. Now this one we'll go over each. The Stafford Spring Sizzler, 2,200 in repairs. That is when I was having the best run of my career at the Spring Sizzler and the car was really fast. May have gotten a wreck with 1 lap to go. Shock, exploded. Suspension damage, wheel damage. I blew through a lot of right front wheels this year. This total is 2,200. Then we go to Seekonk, a lot less damage, 125 for a new front bumper. We head back here to Stafford for the GAF race, another wreck in the same exact spot because I am not using my head this year. $3,532. That's a big one, that hurt. So that is a front clip repair. We had to change out the front clip because it got bent. Honestly, should have changed it after the Sizzler, but I didn't want to put a new front clip on it. So we had to after that event. And again, we broke the shock. We had to change the shock tower, front suspension parts, spindles, uppers, lowers. This is just all added together. Also got the radiator. That brings it to the total of $3,532. We go back to Waterford, had to replace another front bumper. Fall final, had to replace a front bumper and a wheel. Preventative maintenance. So before our last 2 races of the year, we realized the rotors were just, I don't know what happened to them. They were all chewed up. The pads were just gone. So we replaced our rotors and pads for a total of $1,246. This brings the total for damage and repairs in 2025 to $7,513. Thank you. I know, impressive. It's number 75. Gosh. Now, it's not all losing money and spending money with racing. You see, there is now the opportunity to offset our expenses with these big paying purse events. A lot of the open wheel tour type modified races have these big payouts, right? 10,000 to win here, 10,000 to win there, 12,000 to win here, 8,500. Well, that's great if you're the winner. So, unfortunately, we did not win any races this year. And here is our income on winnings for 2025. Thompson Speedway, 19th, $1,100. Our biggest payout of the year, 10th place here at the Napa Spring Sizzler, $2,600. 9th place at Seekonk, $1,800. Our worst finish of the year, 24th here at the GAF race, $1,000. 18th place at Waterford with the Monaco Modified Series, $1,100. A 10th place at the Fall Final for $1,700. A 11th place at Waterford with the MRS Series for a total of $1,150. This came with a lap bonus of $65. And then we ended the year off at Seekonk Speedway with a 17th place finish of $1,200. This is where there's a lot of variables. My total winnings with the Tour Modified for 2025 was $11,650. Seems like a lot. Not compared to the expenses. Depending how you finish, you get more. If you win 3 races and you get $30,000, that's huge. But unfortunately, with the money I'm spending on my tour operation, we're not at the top level to compete in the top 10. Yes, we could get a top 10, or we could have this awesome opportunity for a great finish, especially here at Stafford, the Sizzler with the tire strategy. But our chance of winning is far less than some of these bigger teams. And that is okay. There's nothing against big teams coming in and racing and getting the wins. That is awesome, that is great for them. But with them getting the winnings, the 10,000 win, their amount they're spending is, I don't even want to see it. That would be terrifying. So let's go ahead, jump into the final, the totals. Are you guys ready? Oh, man. Now it's time to tally up all the totals of expenses. And now for the grand total. Oh yes. You wanted to know how much it costs to run a Tour Modified for 8 races. Here you have it. $48,958. Jeepers creepers. I have a problem. Guys, that's crazy. With that, we have winnings, $11,690, and our total expense on the year for our Tour Modified operation, $37,308. Yeah, let that sink in. It's a lot. In conclusion, racing is an expensive hobby. It never will be a money maker. The saying is what, to make $1 million in racing, you gotta start with 2. Yes, it's a lot of money, but with great sponsors and supporters like Monaco Ford, Pabst Blue Ribbon, Casagrande Builders, Next Gen Auto Parts, Fragola Fittings, FK Rod Ends, Chalu Race Parts. With all these great supporters, it helps offset these costs. This was just a total cost. This is not including any sponsorships. If you're thinking about getting into Tour Modified racing, well, now you have a clearer picture of the financial expenses. Drop a comment down below if you have any questions, or you'd like to see a follow-up video of sponsorship, offsetting expenses, how much it costs to build a new Tour Modified, which actually don't comment that because I won't build a new Tour Modified. That's crazy. Do not comment that. Or even budgeting. Let me know down in the comments. Thank you guys for watching today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. Throttle down and see you guys at the races.